This is floCoW example number 1, how to write your narrative essay. The floCoW is broken up into 3 steps. Step 1 is the flow, the FLO, which stands for flow, where you simply write down your thoughts on a given topic. The focus is not on spelling, grammar, punctuation, or even complete sentences. The focus simply is your thoughts. What do you think? Step 2 is the CO. The CO is the concept organizer to help you organize your thoughts and begin to sketch the arc of your whole essay. You can either sketch it yourself and create a model to help you organize your thoughts, or the teacher will give you a concept organizer. The third step is to write the essay. Now your essay begins to take full shape and you start making corrections as needed. All right, so step 1, and we're using Uyen's flow, right? And we all did the flow right. So let's get an example of Uyen's flow, and then I'm going to shape it and sketch out an essay, a complete essay. Uyen's flow. Life during the epidemic has been pretty easy for me, actually. I can always go to school on time and get help with my homework online. I can wear whatever I am comfortable wearing, and I can eat home during class. It's also less chaotic because there are less fights towards students, and they will always be supervised during class hours. The downside is you won't be able to know if they're sleeping or playing video games. I've been able to get all my work done during the epidemic because I have more time. There are a few things that have changed, like my parents telling me to get up for school and preparing for school. It's been kind of easy for them too, since they don't have to drive me and my sister to school every day. It's less expensive because they don't have to pay gas for it. I also made some friends, but I miss hanging out with my old friends in elementary school. I think that's pretty much it. The timer will end in a few seconds. 179 words. So that's the FLO, that's the flow. And then I just kind of drew things, right? Normally I would just have you write by hand, but because we're in distance learning, you're typing first, okay? I also have concept organizers typed up, but I wanted to show you that you can also make your own. So again, there's the FLO, flow, CO, concept organizer, and the W for write the essay. So for a narrative essay, we're following plot. Plot is the sequence of events of a story. And the first element of plot is exposition, introduction of setting and characters. The second is rising action, which introduces the conflict of the story. The climax is the most intense moment of the story. The falling action happens, moments after the climax, and the resolution will be your conclusion, right? Loose ends are tied up. What is conflict? Again, we went over that before. Conflict is the struggle between two opposing forces. There are 2 types of conflict: external conflict and internal conflict. All right, so I was just showing you my model and the elements of plot. Okay, and then I did my model for or based off of Uyen's flow. So there you have exposition, and I wrote, my best friend and I both live in Stockton, California, where the state issued a regional stay-home order for San Joaquin Valley. When we went to school last year, pre-COVID, she had the best grades. Now I have the best grades under quarantine. Number 2, rising action. Many of us want to go back to school, and we are ready for things to go back to the way they were, but we can't because of the virus. And because of the virus, we are stuck at home, and we are in, a conflict. We have those 2 conflicts: the external conflict of the virus, the deadly virus, and then the fact that we're stuck at home in conflict with ourselves, trying to change and adapt to the situation. Climax. Turns out we can see a silver lining in distance learning. So that's that part. Falling action, examples of benefits of distance learning, resolution, conclusion, final thoughts. There is an upside to staying. Let's take advantage of it while we can. All right, so that's the sketch there. All right, that's your sketch. Okay, and before I do the right part, let's review what it is a narrative essay. What is a narrative essay? When writing a narrative essay, one might think of it as telling a story. These essays are often anecdotal. That means they tell a story. Experiential and personal, allowing students to express themselves in a creative, quite often moving ways. If written as a story, the essay should include all parts of a story. This means that you must include an introduction, plot, characters, setting, climax, and conclusion. The essay should have a purpose. Make a point. Think of this as the thesis of your story. If there is no point to what you are narrating, why narrate it at all? Okay, and this is from Purdue Writers Lab. That PUR represents Purdue Writers Lab. These are their words. Okay. Use clear and concise language throughout the essay. Much like the descriptive essay, narrative essays are effective when the language is carefully, particularly, and artfully chosen. Use specific language to evoke specific emotions and senses in the reader. As always, be organized. Have a clear introduction that sets the tone for the remainder of the essay. Do not leave the reader guessing about the purpose of your narrative. Remember, you are in control of the essay. You are in control of the essay, so guide it where you desire. Just make sure your audience can follow your lead. That's that. And then I wrote the essay, right? We set the sketch, we reviewed everything, and here's our character for Uyen's essay. Hey, Uyen, do not forget to do your essay, my best friend Sue would say as the sun gleamed in her eyes. As she turned away, her ponytails flew bird-like above her shoulders. I won't, Sue, I responded. I will make sure and work on it tonight. Give me a call when you get home. Okay, bye, she retorted and walked away. Okay, let me make sure I can scan up. That was the last time I saw my best friend. Due, and then like two. And I got to make space. Due to the rapid spread of the coronavirus, we have been stuck at home for over 8 months. 8 months. The interesting thing is that at the start of the school, at the start of school last year, Sue always had better grades than me. But now, since we have been going to school at home under distant learning, I have the best grades. And then something about, so there is a silver lining to distance learning, maybe. You could add more. Many of us want to go back to school and we are ready for things to go back to the way they were. But we cannot because of the virus. And because of the virus, we cannot go to physical school either. As a community, as a city, as a state, we are in a predicament. We want things to return to the rat race so we can just get back to our normal lives. But if we go back, the virus will spread and more people will die. Yes, you need to protect yourself, but you also need to protect others. Suppose you're asymptomatic, then you can be a super spreader, and a lot of people that you come in contact with will get sick because of you. My friend, you do not want that, so just stay home and deal with it. To be honest, life during the epidemic has been pretty easy for me, actually. I can always get to school on time and get help with homework online. I can wear whatever I'm comfortable wearing, and I can eat at home during class. So you can see that I put her flow right here. I just copy and pasted it here. It's also less chaotic because there are less fights towards students, and they will always be supervised during class hours. All right, so we need to fix that sentence there. Supervise during, okay, less fights because you stay home. Always supervised during class hours. I don't know. I think I would fix that sentence in some way. You don't need the downside part, I don't think. So I'm going to take that part out. Okay. Class hours. I've been able to get all my work done during the epidemic because I have more time. There are a few things that haven't changed, like my parents telling me to get up for school and preparing for school. It's been kind of easy for them too, since they don't have to drive me and my sister to school every day. It's less expensive because they don't have to pay gas for it. I also made some friends, but I miss hanging out with my old friends in elementary school. So we're going to take that last part out there. I think that's pretty much it. That part goes out about the timer. And return. Okay, we have all the time at home, so let's do something with it. Work on yourself. Take up a hobby. Build something. Get to know your family better. Even better, get to know yourself. The possibilities are endless. What I like about distance learning is that there are less distractions and I am more relaxed. You can't beat that with a stick. My friend Sue is in a funk, so I'm trying to talk her out of it. It seems harder for her to stay engaged because we are at home, but I would be bored to death if I wasn't doing my work at school. And I always go outside a bit because the truth is, we cannot be inside 24/7. Sometimes we have to feel the sun on our face and breathe the fresh air. That is why I like going for a walk when I can. My concluding thought. My concluding thought is this: things will turn back to the way they were soon enough. So let's make the most of quarantine. This is an upside to having all. No, there is, not this. That's a wrong pronoun there. So we start to make corrections. There is an upside to having all this time at home. Catch up on your sleep. Good sleep makes you strong. So exercise, because exercise helps you sleep better. Just because we're at home doesn't mean you have to be sedentary. Listen to an album of music by a favorite artist. Make something, whatever it is, make sure it is something you like. Make a schedule for yourself and stick to it. Use an alarm to make sure you do not oversleep and miss a class. We might not ever get this chance again. That reminds me, I have to call Sue.